Don't take all my candy. Ink or something? Pens? Ink's probably made out of soy.
My reach, so I'm gonna move that way a little.
All right, so you have. Hi, very much. So I just quickly because I found the trash from earlier about the night, he said that's
What do you need?
for that to do it. So can we do it?
Just go to mortonborough.org.
If you ever need.
I'll send you a.
Just did that.
Anything money.
Right. Yes, he thinks it's here.
I would have any time.
Right.
715, okay, 603, right?
Right.
You're gonna text your name. And that'll give you the website.
I think you're just understanding, that's just the way he is. But it's getting old, I know.
Yeah, maybe, but like now it's more like, you gotta understand, this is who I deal with for a living.
Yes. I understand.
You have to add it to your bookmarks, click on the three dots there. And then there should be.
Saw the baby
bookmarks.
being big, she walking.
Isn't that?
Mhm.
Saw Dad in the little
Yeah.
square, I'm like, wow, you just have her.
Good evening, everyone.
She was, hello, how
Hello,
are you?
Chief. Chief. You hear about the evening?
However, I was locked out of
Oh,
the report system today. And I couldn't review the report,
Oh.
but brand new.
It's really not mine,
now.
but I was there,
Regardless of where you're at.
like,
If you click on the three dots.
and I'm just like,
He was telling me
Yeah, somebody.
and apparently it's not the first time.
Just think that.
It's the first time I've been.
20,
I was mad.
23 years of experience working on it right there.
Right? You don't have to go
Long
through that.
time.
If it is, I won't be there. Don't you figure it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shaking my plate, I'm actually-
Hey, Michelle. Like the number.
Numbers went up.
Wait.
Now look at the bottom number. Oh, no.
Yeah, right, right, went down. It's usually 19 something. Right, that's why I'm like, that's odd to me. Yeah,
Yeah, because there's too many people.
yeah, because I've seen too. I do know there's people that do
I
it.
actually drove around.
You're right,
the
exactly.
whole neighborhood, but 75% of it is just.
Mhm.
Well, so we put it on the agenda unless something happened. Place them up. Yeah. Maybe I can.
I don't know.
What major step?
I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to website.
Oh, okay.
Am I still swearing?
Yes.
Do you have a swearing? Wow.
Usually when you meet.
Yes.
It is. We need to meet.
Anytime, you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but I mean, there's other things like, if you have any events, you're ready. You go to them.
Did you want to give her? Consent to work?
Oh, you can add them in if you'd like. You can make your- Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, but it's, I mean, mean, but the initial idea can come from you, and then you can reach out to the board.
1023 is, so you,
Yeah,
what's
like
the
you
deal,
said,
man,
right,
for you?
that's what happens.
I always
Those
say,
people don't wanna get involved. That's the, the reality.
this is budget meetings on next, well, tomorrow. Tomorrow's budget meetings for economic development
You know what I mean?
and public safety. So 6 p.m. So, yeah. So I was gonna write here tentatively about the chicken people. All right. So what time?
You tell me what's good.
And we need copies.
No, I get
6
it.
p.m.
That's-
Is that all right? 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, we're just getting those out of line. We do, but that only goes so far. They don't pay for it. They're all behind the. Think money out of their pocket.
Marty.
How does that sound?
We have like 3 minutes.
So we didn't even go over, like I said, some of her grants,
Phil,
so. And go
Can you
over
give her that so she can make the copy for me?
I can forward that to you.
We need the disbursement charges. Well, it, but why? Because we already agreed on it.
We only have 3 meetings right now, so.
Just do 3.
Oh, yeah, like float around. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's what's it's requested and we said we will, so.
Yeah, that would be cool.
We'll all be jeweled tonight.
Yes, trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Willie.
Yeah, like a watch party.
Good
Yeah,
evening,
yeah.
Charles.
Yeah. But that's something you can add to your budget.
Do you want some?
It's just say, you know, $200 for advertising.
Have my about.
For a watch party, you know, right? You can throw it in there and, you know, you'll have the money with the and then you can. Keep that on Facebook, I can do that for you. And then we can use those funds to boost the event to 1,000 people that are in the area. That's what I'm trying to do this year, is I'm gonna boost the event to folks even outside more. We're small, right? I mean, you know, you're gonna get.
No, I
like,
can't.
right? But regardless of.
I told you I'll cut down my big stuff when I have this.
So let's say you boosted somebody Ridley. They come and they're like, well, you know, Ridley's not okay, but they will look so, you know.
Are you good? Don't spread anything to me. I have a lot of it. And if you should tell, I'm already suggesting.
Yeah, it's tough. There's not a lot of guys here.
That's not like great for a
You
phone.
know, but
It has the names and it's not like.
So we're gonna put parks and Rec up on there, plus community development, and then you can grow it. But that's where you wanna list, you know, and we'll like, ahead of time, but you can list like 2 or 3, agenda items you wanna keep on the flyer, right? And then it's like, everybody wants to get it, and then, oh, you know, Parks and Rec, having a lead the park day on whatever day, and we'll go out there. So that's something we didn't get all in here. Bob McGrath, is really good at it. He made a really nice flyer, and it went out to all the. So we need to get back into that, because that's the thing. We need to communicate more with the residents, and more than just being in here, right? And that's the thing. We can't go half and half, that's like, you know, that's hard to do. Right. Yeah.
He goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an emergency. His house. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, we'll get you on that. List. Yeah.
You wanna get copies of it.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the manager. Huh? Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The borough manager that will help with like on grants. Whereas we can do this,
Yeah.
you know, we can do better local stuff. Than they can work on it. You know, Tracy, Time you learn all this stuff. So they have to be ready to come in. Right, and then they gotta learn it.
I think so. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do that.
Sworn in, you have to submit.
My daughter, nice.
She just left.
They have-
She whispered something to Michelle, you know, I'm not.
Get in and, you know, all the sleepers.
But if she's here, she can, you know, we'll just go by everything.
Yeah, thank God.
Whatever.
Yeah, you don't expect to see. Yeah, even if half hour, you're all over. Well, I had the news on, but I was doing something on my computer and I heard. You know, it's like, the whole time, it was just like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then it came on the news. That's what.
Are we good? Everybody good? Yes. All right. Call to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance.
United States of America and to the republic of the nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Borough Secretary, can you please do a roll call?
Council Vice President Bernice Clark Dickerson. Councilor Douglas Eager.
Here.
Councilor Beth Ann Johnson. Here. Councilor Michelle Miller.
Here.
Council President Shante Miller.
Here.
Councilor Michelle Roberts.
Present.
Councilor Walter Stubbs.
Here.
Mayor Amanda Hunt.
Present.
Okay, for our announcements, this evening, I would like to introduce our residents. Some of our officers, I would like to introduce our new interim manager, Jack Lipset. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Awesome. Please stand, just give him just a welcoming hello. Jack will begin with us, November 4th of this year, so just a few weeks. Thank you for being here, Jack. For presentations this evening, we will be swearing in Gabriel Rossi. He is our new part-time patrol officer for the Morton Police Department.
You ready for some dance?
Yeah, see when that's in my face.
Yeah.
Once he's done.
Did you practice? No? You didn't have him practice? Oh, this is gonna be good. All right, repeat after me.
Thank you.
Left hand on the bottom, right hand up.
It's okay, it's all right. We're all good.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna step in front of everybody. So
See, now we'll make him work,
Flag,
right? All right. You ready? Sure? Okay. I
I,
state your name.
Gabriel Rossi,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
and the ordinances of the Borough of Morton,
and the ordinances of Borough of Morton,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and will discharge the duties of my office
as a patrolman with fidelity.
as a patrolman with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Hey.
As I like to say, and if you wanna take a moment and shake hands with your council.
Thank you.
I would like to bring Amber, thank you for letting us borrow them.
Thank you.
We promise.
Thank
that we'll take care of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank
We
you.
are one large family.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's part of your job, is the
I'll
swearing.
clean that.
Promise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He said that it's happening, so I don't even.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care, stay safe.
Congratulations, Gabriel.
Thank you for letting us.
Okay, so I'd like to add that this evening, council did meet in in an executive session at 6 p.m. I'm sorry, it's usually in my face on the agenda. It was not today, so I did miss that. Right. Yep, it wasn't there, it was Michelle. Okay, we're gonna move on to public comment on our agenda and, item. Sorry, guys, I am a little congested, so, Mr. Hefner?
Bill Hefner, 571 South Old Middletown Road, Media, PA. I have several businesses here in Morton. I have a couple of questions. I want to ask them first in case I run out of time. One, I believe the borough talked about increasing the pay to the crossing guards a while back. I think it's only 25 cents an hour. I was curious what's happening with that. Second thing is, I was curious about Morton, since Bernice is not here, regarding how much is being transferred to Morton for collection. And has past due interest been calculated on the funding? And if so, if we don't get the money at a certain time, do we file liens against our properties? Which is my second question. The third one is, I see we have our disbursements report. The P&Ls really don't help in this, but I don't see a cash balance of the checking accounts that we have in the savings. We haven't seen that for a while. That's important to me. We can get that for the next issue. Fourth item is, I was walking in the back door here and I thought we had to put mats or something underneath the kids' swings, because I think there was a big stink about possible injury and things like that. I was just curious if that is going to be done or if it's been nixed. And then the last question we've been kicking around was the parking meters. Was there anything done on that? Because it's been talked about in the prior administration and now too. So that's my group of questions.
Okay. So, first I'll touch on this, crossing guards. We actually did speak about that last meeting. It was put on the agenda, actually, so we addressed that. And what we did say is we're working on just finding information so that we can continue forward. But right now it's a personnel issue, so we can't really get into it, but we are on the lookout of that. So, but that was mentioned in the last meeting.
I did forget one thing about the trash. It looks like we're gonna also have a summertime pickup. And which costs a lot more just because people can't seal their trash bag to keep the bugs out. I'm not in favor of that. I just believe in one pickup a year and that's it.
Okay, thank you for your
Sorry to
input.
interrupt.
Yes, thank you. I'm trying to remember all your questions too, specifically to any that I can answer.
Let's see, the math's under, well, that would be,
The balance for the banks?
Yeah,
The
the bank
treasurer's report,
balances.
Yeah.
you have a treasurer's report that shows the balance for the bank accounts.
It does show that.
Yes.
Okay. Again, it just came out a minute ago. I didn't
Portnoy,
catch that one, so that's fine.
they're working on sending it into, or they're working together with, municipal billing to come up with the totals so that they can be sent in, and we're hoping that'll happen soon.
So what about Portnoy? What are we doing with that?
So they're just, they have to compile all the information to then send it to Portnoy, and they're working with municipal billing to compile that information and send it.
I thought the borough had to put the information together, then send it to Portnoy first.
Yes, but they're working, so they have an organization called municipal billing, which administers this stuff, and they're working together with municipal billing to get that data together to send it to Morton.
So is there a time frame for that data to be completed?
I don't know
No,
the answer.
not at the moment. I'll go back to the maps. That's just something you had. I have not heard that. I do know that that is something that Parks and Rec is working on. Mr. Stubbs has spoken on it like quite a few times. You do see it locally in other parks. But I haven't really heard anything about it was causing any, like, I'm not sure.
All
where
I
that
know
comes
is
from.
in prior meetings, they were having an uproar about the liability and the risk of injury and everything else, insurance.
I don't think not specifically to that though.
Well, they didn't have anything under the swings, so the plan was to put mats under it or
So-
something.
So it's
soft.
supposed to be
Right now,
mulch,
it's
I
just dirt.
believe.
So,
There's actually two mats that are out there. There should be 4.
so I'm gonna try and get them to burn through your questions, but your 3 minutes is up. I think the last question is about parking, you guys.
And as you know, I think we mentioned that prior to, that is something that we are working on, whether it's, finding a solution, getting the old ones replaced, which is kind of hard to do. They're kind of outdated. But we are also working on trying to get them replaced just for maybe just a simple kiosk that can just account for all the parking spots.
Okay, so I know there were bids out, we haven't followed through on any of the bids or anything.
So I don't believe there were bids out. It was just something that we were just starting to focus on.
Well, in one of the minutes, there were pieces of paper showing.
There were.
There were
quotes.
numbers, but there were no bids. We were just given possible, but we never made any bids. on them. Thank you.
All right,
So we're gonna move on to our committee reports. Bernice actually was here this evening, but she did not feel well, so hopefully all is well with Bernice this evening. But we're gonna move on to finance and administration. If you take a look in your packet, you should see the tax collector report for the month. Go down to line 9, your face amount of collections, this month was $2,597.18. Your treasurer's report, which we just briefly touched on, is also in your packet. You want to go ahead and take a look at that and your disbursement journals for September 2024. I know we just kind of addressed a couple of things with Port Walker. Carl, do you want to elaborate any more on that?
Yeah, I don't know that there's really any more to elaborate on. It's in the process of being compiled so they can be sent forward.
Thank you. And that's all for finance and administration. Moving on to public facilities and infrastructure, Councilor Bethany and Johnson.
Thank you. So I'm gonna refer over to Mr. Catania regarding the building code official report and the engineer's report.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson.
Cool.
Under the building inspector report for September 2024, there were 24 building permit applications received and 22 permits issued. Using issues for 3 properties were inspected and 1 UNL was issued and then 7 contract licenses issued. On the engineer report, a copy of my report is on file. Anything of any substance is covered elsewhere in the agenda.
Thank you. The third item would be the Texas PennDOT traffic signal update. We've received an update that JMC was going to assist us with this for insurance at $19,500, which is less than the $30,000 that we thought we would have to get approved for. So tonight we were looking to do a vote on approving the $19,500. SEPTA has approved them for their insurance as well. And I don't know, Mr. Catania, if you had any additional info that I missed on that.
JMC contractor is a local general contractor who actually has railroad protected liability insurance. The additional cost is for the binder that's needed for some additional SEPTA requirements. And then he's asking for a small overhead profit for this. So he's gonna choose some new jobs, but he's gonna basically have signal services that are solved and signal service as a fully contractor as well. So obviously, if we had to go with signal service, their insurance company is gonna start at $30,000, so it is a savings. Again, we plan on bundling all this up and filing it, adding it to the claim we have against SEPTA for the damage. Everything else with SEPTA is now taken care of. The technical review for the project has been done and approved. The boring contractor had the safety training done, so we're ready to start as soon as we get this approved. Submit the sector, they'll issue the right of entry permit, and then we can get started over there.
That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to public safety. I'll turn it over to you, Chief, for your police report this week.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The police report for this month, our objective number one was reducing retail thefts by 20% for the year. For this last reporting period in the year 2023, there were 2 retail thefts. This year we have 0. That's a 200% decrease for this reporting period, as well as an overall 87% reduction for the year. We had 195 building checks this reporting period, many of which were at Colvin. Our second objective was reducing accidents by 20% for the year. From September 10th to October 8th, there were 8 accidents last year. This year, we've had 3 accidents. There's a 63% decrease in accidents this reported period. Overall, 35% reduction for the year. And I'm waiting on the stop sign placement report from PennDOT. I brought that up at the last council meeting that the amount of accidents that we had, they gave approval if council so moves to approve it. Put a stop sign at Waverly and Baltimore. But I was waiting for them to provide me with a final report on the placement of the no left turn signs. I didn't mean stop sign, that no left turn signs. And I'm waiting to hear back from Don Sanfani about that. So once I have that report, then if council so wishes, to have the solicitor meeting to create an ordinance for the no left turn. Related to the accident reduction, we had 103 traffic checks by the officers this past month. They wrote 13 citations and there were 30 warnings that were given. And that is my report.
Thank you, Chief. All right, I'm gonna have Don. Did you want to come up and go ahead and give your final opinion? Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Back on the activity report for September 2024. Responded to 11 incidents. Company was in service for 65 hours. I'll check back, stepping back so I can read it. Total responsive personnel was 67. Personnel hours expended was 8 hours, 55 minutes. We had a high of 10 and an average of 6. We had 2 automatic fire alarms, 1 wires call, 3 building fires, 1 carbon monoxide alarm, 1 motor vehicle accident, 1 brush fire, and 2 residential rescues. With that, there's 8 to other companies, which was swap one. We had 8 details for 25 hours, attended by 61 members for 253 hours and 30 minutes. So a lot of that was the Dan Clement cornhole tournament. We had 5 training drills for 11 hours, 15 minutes, attended by 68 members for 154 hours of personnel hours. 6 district duty engine, 5 duty engine assignments for 21 hours, attended by 45 for 187 personnel hours. There's 13 hours of engineering, monthly maintenance and repairs, and a new front scene light was installed on the 2013 engine. We had 2 driver trainings for 2 hours, 45 minutes, 8 hours and 15 minutes personnel. They're still continuing to train on the TAC and the engines to get more qualified drivers, which we need. We had 1 person attend electric vehicle fires for 7 hours. Respectfully submitted.
Great, thank you.
And I know Rufus isn't here, but we're working on getting 111 Providence squared away with the Knox box.
Okay,
They installed the Knox boxes in the wrong location, and they're actually Prospect Park's Knox box. So they're gonna figure out how to rekey them or replace them. I'm trying to get that done before it's sold.
okay, thank you. And then I just want to add, good job to our Morton Rutledge Fire Company for responding to Springfield's fire at St. Francis. Just continue to keep that community in prayer. They did just have a devastating fire a few days ago to their school. Very sad to see, but love to see that we were there to assist. And although we can't always save the place, we definitely try, and they really did a good job of responding. So I just want to, say kudos to you guys, and just make sure you keep that community in your prayers.
Thank you.
Alrighty, moving on to public health and sanitation and recycling, Councilor Michelle Roberts.
Yes, good evening. On the agenda tonight, in the back of your packet, if you've received it, we have the numbers for September 2024 for the recycling report. And as we look at the numbers for the 4 weeks, the numbers did decline. The weight's coming in at 8.01. And I know that I surveyed the community, Michelle surveyed the community. We do see that people are recycling. So I would tend to question this, because I do notice there are a lot of people that do recycle. So this number, normally we're at 19, but we're at 8. So I would like to I'll reach out to B&L on this one, because I have a little bit of a concern on that number, being that we consistently were in 18 or 19, but then now for September, we're at 8. So that is a difference. Also on the agenda tonight is in regards to the rubbish contract for 2025. And last month we did put in the bid requirements that came in from Penn Bidding. And there were 3 contractors. And I'm going to ask for Mr. Catania's input, because I didn't know who SEM was. There's Creative Waste Solutions, there's JP Mascaro and Sons, and then there was SEM.
SEM appears to be, I need to verify this, but SEM appears to be an offshoot of another local company, J&K, but I need to verify that.
Okay, all right. All right, and as I mentioned in the packet, I'm just going to read over the numbers, okay, of what we will be meeting. We will be meeting October the 16th at 6 p.m. here in the borough. Okay, so here's an opportunity for those residents that address your concerns and come and meet with us here as we discuss, because we have to prepare to make our final motion on accepting the bid for the coming year. So we have for trash for 2025, 1 day, that's October the 1st to May 31st, and 2 days, June 1st to September 30th. It came in at $200,507. For trash and recycling, 1 day per week, each on alternating days. Example, trash on Monday, recycling on Thursday. And it came in at $162,793. And now just for recycling only, 1 day, $93,415. So looking at the numbers that I have, I would tend to go to the lowest bidder, which the lowest bidder was Creative Waste, which is actually B&L. So these are things that I know that I'm going to come to the meeting and say to those that are present, I have to go to the lowest bidder. And there previously are the haulers that we use now. So we do have an established relationship with them. So these are things I'm going to ask for your input in. Then I have to also now reach to the borough administration, because I have to find out about tipping fees. All that has to be encountered also with this. So this is where, welcome Jack Lipset. Here's a great opportunity for you to get involved. So these are things, numbers that I'm going to need. Also, there's numbers that I'm going to need, because we also have one resident, Mr. Hefner, that gave me several questions that I now have to go into the office to get this information. So there's numbers that he wants to know about the businesses, as far as the trash on the businesses and recycling, those numbers that I have to come in the office and get in the files to get these numbers so that we can address his issues as well. So Mr. Hefner, we will address all those questions that you submitted to me that I share with Marty, okay?
Appreciate your help.
So basically, this is where we're at. I will refer to Mr. Catania if you have any input that you want to suggest to us.
I think. Well, the committee together decide which documents is gonna move forward with. I want to correct myself, that this SEN is not who I thought they were. They are out of Delaware. It appears that they are former employees of Waste Management, creating their own contracts in Southern Delaware, Maryland. So,
Okay. So then the numbers that we were given, like the 200, I would have to take that 200 and still add on the recycling number of 93, right? Is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct. Decided to go with trash.
Okay.
Recycling.
All right.
Maybe 50 pieces more.
Yep, okay, so these are the things that we're going to discuss October the 16th here at 6 p.m. So all are welcome. Here's your opportunity, and I know that you said, Mr. Hefner, you didn't care for the 2-day pickup, one in the winter and one in the summer?
Right, or just the one pickup.
Okay,
The other people should be responsible on how to tie their trash bag to keep the bugs out.
and that's true, but, and I say it all the time from this podium, people do not respect trash. I believe that if you're gonna put trash out, you're gonna contain your trash properly. You're gonna make sure it's secured, okay? Not that it's traveling all through the neighborhood. So these are the things just to educate people about the importance of how you put trash out. I mean, I, for one, like the 2-day, because people have come to me and they said they like to know that their trash, because people tend to do more in the summer with outdoors and entertaining, and they like that input of getting their trash out for 2 days. But thank you, we'll take it under advisement.
On when we had the 2-day pickup,
Pardon me?
do you have a tonnage report from prior year when you had both the summer and the regular pickup?
The number should be in the office.
All right, well, when I see you on the 16th at 6 p.m., I'd be happy to discuss that length with you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And there was something else that Shelley and I wanted to bring up. I talked to a local business who is willing to do CPR classes. And I already have 4 people who say they want to be certified. It'd be $40 to take the classes to be certified, but only $5 to take the simple class. And I don't know the details of that, but exactly the details, but I wanted to put it out there. If anybody is interested with an organization or you and your neighbor or something like that in taking a CPR class, we can set these up within the next, well, it'll be very easy to set them up. You know, without a lot of advertising and so on and so forth, if we can have use of perhaps this room, and if not, we can find another setting, but very reasonable. If you need to be certified for your job or you want to be certified, said it'll be $40, and we're going to do this.
Okay.
And it'll be, we'll have at least 1 or 2 sessions, one of each class, next month.
And this is a great opportunity for the young people that are into babysitting that can come out and get certified. So these things will help them with just things of that nature.
Is it the business? Is it the hangout?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
to
so
me,
you
she
should
should
say
write.
the
Yeah,
business.
Yeah.
because she also has, she also does have babysitting training classes, but that's a separate thing from what we're talking about. But we'll be working this out. So if anybody's interested, anybody knows anybody that's interested, then contact either of the Michelles here and we'll help them out and hopefully make us all safer.
Mhm. All right, that would end my report.
Okay, well, moving on to law and ordinance. Counselor Michelle Miller.
The only thing I have is that I had the pleasure of riding around with the chief the other evening. We rode the wild streets of Morton, so to speak. And we went up and down every street. He brought in some insightful items, looking at some of the ordinances that they're, won't name particular streets, but say, on this side of the street, there's no parking signs. but people park on the other side. Well, anyway, the street signs are reversed. People are parking on this side when they're not supposed to be, but it's okay. We're just gonna reverse the signs for various reasons, or maybe it's missing some signs. There's some silly things like that. There are a few other little instances of signs missing, or perhaps signs need to be put in. Mr. Stubbs brought something up this evening that, about Vaughn Street, little Vaughn Street, that we can talk about. It's kind of a paper alley, real street, that we didn't discuss the other night, but we'll go into detail at the next law and ordinance meeting about anything that needs to be done. But there are some corrections to the ordinances. And if anybody has a particular interest or parking problem that maybe we didn't see, again, let me know, or let the chief know. And then we'll do our best to take care of it. Is there anything else you'd like to say about that, chief?
I think encompassed everything.
Okay, thank you. That's all that I have.
Okay, moving on to community and economic development, Counselor Doug Elar.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just wanted to go over a couple events that are going to be going on throughout the community. The first one is there is a senior fair sponsored by Representative Jen O'Mara. That's going to be on Wednesday night at the Springfield YMCA, which is 194 West Sproul Road. So they're going to have except senior cards available, senior services, flu and COVID vaccines, as well as a DA drug take back bin. I've never used that, so I'm not really sure what that is, but that's what's going to be there.
That was today.
It was tonight.
Mhm.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
tonight. Okay, well, you missed it.
Good.
I promise the rest of them are not tonight. There's a
Right.
health and wellness fair on October 19th, and I have a printout for that. So that's sponsored by the Teams for Positive Empowerment. That is October 19th, 2024, from 11 to 3. It's going to be at the Morton Borough building here. You can contact anybody from the borough. It's Lisa Lockley is in charge, so you can contact us if you want to, her email or anything like that. There's also going to be the young entrepreneurs, and a little bit about that. I wrote that down. That's kids entrepreneurs with big ideas, and their saying is, if you love selling items you've made, then join us. So that's also going to be there. But the health and wellness fair is going to have blood pressure checks, mental health wellness, flu shots, lupus organization, child guidance, Blind Foundation, Alzheimer's Association, Discover Optimal Healthcare, Delaware County Health Department, and many more. So there's some presentations and some really good stuff there. So please check that out if you can. Next on the list is the PRC Fall Collections, which is an e-waste recycling event. There's one at Rose Tree Park on October 31st from 9 to 1. You do have to register for this. It's free to register. And you can go to prc.org if you want to learn how to sign up and everything. So some items that are free that they will take, computer towers, laptops, mice, keyboards, phones, cell phones, tablets, scanners, electronic cables. But there are a couple things that do cost something. Printers and computer monitors, TVs, they all cost anywhere from $5 to, it looks like, $40. So depending on what you have, they will take it, but some of them do cost a fee. And again, you can go to prc.org and check out that. There's also a trunk or treat sponsored by the Morton Rutledge Fire Company, October 19th. That's going to be at Mike Social Field from 6 to 7:30. Come join the fire department for a fun and candy-filled night. You can decorate your car and bring out your children. Prizes will be handed out. You can register. Please email mayor@mortonborough.org. And there's no fee to enter. And let's see, this Friday, October 11th is the Drag Queen Bingo. That's also sponsored by the Morton Rutledge Fire Department from 6 to 9. Ms. Todd, if you want to elaborate on that, please feel free when you stand up. I'm not sure what else is as part of that, but wanted to give it a shout out. And that's about all I have. I wanted to show everybody, let's see if I can share my screen, because I wanted to show everybody there's a new feature on the website. Let's see if I can pull it up. And I'm going to try to share my screen at the same time.
That's not good.
Okay, so let me pull up the website first. It's just a real quick thing that I've added, and then let me share the screen. Okay, so. Share. Okay, share. All right, we will get this. Okay, so if you check out the Morton website, you'll see that I'm gonna try to put and keep this as up to date as I can. On the very front page, you're gonna see whatever budget meetings or council meetings are coming up that week or maybe in the next 2 weeks. But one of the best things is instead of having to go anywhere else for the upcoming agenda, you can click right here and it'll bring you to the agenda. Okay, so it's kind of neat. You can go right there and that'll be like for the next most recent upcoming meeting. And then if you also wanted to go to the agenda, you can go, well, I just stopped the website, but anyways, so that's it. So I'm gonna put some of the upcoming meetings and things there so that people have a nice front view to the website. And don't forget to go check out the new website and don't forget to like our Facebook page. All right. So I think that's about it. I'm gonna stop sharing. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Madam President,
Yes,
can I comment on something that Councilman, Jerry brought up?
Yes.
He was bringing up the drug take back, by the district attorney's office and the county detectives. For those who aren't aware, we actually have one here in the hallway. So anybody in the community that wants to bring in, I mean, you don't have to be from the community, if you're somewhere that's local and you want to get, drugs or medications out of the possibility of getting in the hands of someone who shouldn't have them. You can bring them in here to Borough Hall, you can put them into the box, it's a safe, secure box, and it's routinely emptied by the county detectives. Thank you.
And that also keeps them out of the waterways.
Yes.
thank you. All right, moving on to Parks and Recs, Council Walter Stubbs, you have anything for us this evening?
Not really. I just want to reach out to the chief of police and thank him and his officers for doing the great security work with the community walk with the Kamala Harris march that had last week. We appreciate your strength. We appreciate your conversation. And thank you very much for doing what you did.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Stubbs. Moving on to the mayor's report. Mayor, do you have anything for us this evening?
So I just want to piggyback on the statement earlier in regards to the fire with St. Francis. As many of you know, I have a fireman in my house, so it was a particular hairy kind of breathtaking moment, probably the first one that I really had because we were watching it live on TV while it was occurring and just hearing all this. And we have tons of friends over there, more like family, right? I don't know if you want to speak on it, but I will. Correct me if I get any of this wrong. Our company was the water supply or was in charge of the water supply. So when you think of the scope, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, when you think of the scope of things, as Springfield was maintaining and any of the other companies were maintaining the hose work, our guys were maintaining the water supply. And that's huge. And I just want to say to the fire company that I am incredibly grateful for what you guys do, because that can occur here. And that should just be something that we always keep in our heads, that those types of incidences happen. And these individuals are putting their lives on the line in order to do this. It's also why the drive bingo and all of these other things that exist, we need to support them. Because honestly, the cost of what, and I asked my son earlier, I won't bore you with it, but I had asked just a brief explanation of how much the, I say uniforms, but the protective gear costs. And I think it averaged out, again, correct me if I'm wrong, 3,500, and we're not even talking about all the other items. We're just talking about coat. It's what?
Coat and pants.
Yeah, coat and pants, 3,500 per firefighter. So, you know, that's why these individuals are out there fundraising as much as they are. We're a volunteer fire company. Yes, both boroughs, Morton and Rutledge, do give but that is a drop in the bucket as to what they are putting out. So please, please, please keep that in mind when these types of things come up, or when you get the letter in the mail, because that's how we keep our end of our community safe. We're funding them, we're supporting them in order to do this. But I will also give a shout out, it was Brandon.
It was Officer Zamansky, yes.
Officer Zelinski was also a part that evening with directing, I think, traffic duty.
He was conducting the traffic control at Leamy and South Morton.
So our emergency services here in Morton were, right there in the midst of that. And again, as President Miller said, keeping that community in our prayers and support with them as well, absolutely. But as a parent, I will tell you, that was one of the most terrifying moments to witness, is watching that live on TV with the flames kind of engulfing. Does that get any easier ever? Like any easier? No. And I will say this, for whoever may have seen me running into the firehouse with a crock pot, barefoot and no hair and makeup, you did not see that. We were feeding the guys and getting things ready. Christy Holstein and I were kind of putting things back there for when the guys got back. So you did not see that, and there's hopefully no camera footage. But again, thank you. Thank you. You're nodding. I was like, oh, that's all right. Thank you to you guys. Absolutely. I mean, if we could give a round of applause, that would be loud enough for that. Out there and told them the same thing, and I told him I would give him a shout out. So you can tell him that I did.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep, that's all.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, we're gonna move on to our action items tonight. I do want to note we will not be voting to approve the 2025-2028 rubbish contract. So you can cross that out. But we are going to vote on the disbursement journals. So do I have a motion to approve the disbursement journals for September 2024?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Please take a look below of your upcoming meetings and events. We do.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we vote on the 19,500 for the JMC for the September?
Yeah. we can do that.
Thank you.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve?
Can you explain what that is?
Yes, we just talked about it during my presentation, so instead of paying the $30,000 SEPTA wanted, we're going to do 19,500 using the contractor JMC.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So like I was saying down below, we do have our budget meeting on October 10th of 2024 for our community economic and development. And then our public safety budget meeting to follow at 7 p.m. And our next agenda Borough Council meeting will be on the 23rd at 7 p.m. I do believe we were discussing about switching the meetings around in 2025. So we'll be going back to the original format of having the I believe this meeting would go first, and then the agenda meeting would be the second of the month, the second meeting of the month.
The agenda.
The agenda, correct. So as of next year. I think it may have switched up a little bit with COVID and maybe just not fell into place, but it just would make more sense for us to do that. All right, so we're gonna move into our open discussion, and it looks like you are first, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening. Michael Lee, 123 West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, United States of America. I'd just like to remind everyone, in case you are not a registered voter, and nowadays I don't know who could not be registered to vote. The last day to register to vote this year's election is October 21st, and that's fast coming up. So please take part of this election, register to vote if you haven't already done so, and vote because if you don't, you'll have no one to blame but yourself if things go wrong. And, Madam Mayor, I wouldn't care how you looked, as long as you're helping people out. You would be dressing your skivvies, and I think that would be the last thing on people's mind.
Absolutely.
If their house burns down, and a lot of them are probably just in their night clothes themselves, if not less. So, so it wouldn't bother me, and it wouldn't bother me in the least bit. My main concern would be trying how I'm gonna survive, not how somebody else looks. So don't give that a second thought. So, I did hear this quote the other night. One of my guilty pleasures, I watch occasionally repeats of the Ed Sullivan Show. And I heard this line the other night from the lead singer for a group that was called Sly and the Family Stone. I remember the group being out. I never listened to the music because it didn't interest me, but I heard a quote the other night, which we should all remember. Don't hate the black, don't hate the white. If you get bit, hate the bite. And I'm gonna leave you all with that. So thank you for listening. Good night. May God bless all of you.
Thank you,
Nice,
Mr.
thank
Lee. I do see that Lisa Lockley left, so Mr. Hefner, you'd be
Yeah.
up if you,
Yeah, Mrs. Lockley had an emergency and had to leave. She
Mr.
said,
Hefner, did you wanna, you're good, you got everything, okay. Ms. Todd?
Cecilia Todd, 110 Althea Lane, Morton, Pennsylvania. I would just like to double down on what Shantae said about the Morton Rutledge Fire Company, as well as what Mayor Hammack said. You brought the crock pots and you bought the meatball, Christie bought meatballs and roast beef and salads and drinks. And I went down and I helped cut rolls and set the tables. And I was down there until late and the guys weren't back yet. So they were down there for well over 5 hours fighting that fire all night on Monday. I am proud to be a volunteer at the Morton Rutledge Fire Company. Morton Rutledge is gonna have breakfast with Santa Claus on Saturday, December 7th, and I think it's on your calendar already, Doug. Our bingo for Friday night was sold out, so thank you for your support.
Wow.
And,
man, Yeah, I love it.
we're happy about that. So, start thinking about and put it on your calendar, December 7th, breakfast with Santa Claus. And then the fire department will ride with Santa through the town in Morton on that late that morning. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Mr. Lillycrest.
Thank you, Madam President. Two things. Mrs. Roberts, on the trash collection. I'm just cranking my numbers. It looks like it's gonna be another 22% increase in the trash fee. 33% from last year, so it would be up 55% in 2 years. That's if you do two trash
Trash
collections
fees.
a week. Right?
Mm-hmm,
You crank that into your decision, right?
okay.
I see. The other thing, is there a permit fee for these marches, people have on the streets? Do they pay a permit fee for that? Do you get a permit to do that?
No, I think they just do a mask.
Yes,
So,
I don't know the answer to that.
so, with something like this, they did fill out our rental
Well, I
application.
think if, someone wants to march in a public street with the police in front of them and behind them, I mean, that's fine, but I think they should pay for the police time.
well, if it was extra officers on duty particularly.
I can't hear you.
I said if it was extra officers on duty in particular.
Well, it doesn't make any difference whether they're on duty or not, they're doing a specific, security function for.
Right.
So- To answer your question, and you probably didn't hear me, I started to answer you, so I apologize. I'll speak up a little for you. But they did have to fill out a mass gathering application. Generally, there is not a fee for that. And they did work very closely with the chief and the department, so we did not put out any additional money for the assistance. We just had what we had on duty and just pretty much made it work for the community. It was not ours. But we did not acquire any additional
Well,
expenses.
For those 2 hours, they were specific to that function. They weren't.
They absolutely, it was put in place that if an emergency were to come up, they were to leave.
They weren't with the group all of them.
If they did, and it just so happened to work out that way, but however, if an emergency had arisen during that time, they were to report to that emergency.
Then who would take care of the group if they weren't there?
Themselves, again, this isn't something that the borough had
Well,
put together.
They had a rotating,
It's-
they had a
it-
rotating
It's a
idea.
public street, you know, it's the taxpayers of Morton pay, you know, a combined fee for all of the
Yeah,
Mhm.
I understand.
Get it?
wages and they should pay that for a permit, and the permit should be specific, because there was one engagement with a homeowner, because they didn't like the sign she had. And there was a screaming and hollering, you know, like a sign fine,
Sure.
and so they should not be able to do that.
I'm definitely gonna take in everything you're saying
I
and maybe
think-
just
The
implement on
Consider-
police department,
The ordinance going to consider a permit fee, so that, you know, the fee be inclusive of their straight time, overtime, you know, their shift fee, their rank, you know, their pension, their health insurance. If it's $250 an hour, that's what you gotta pay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lillycrop. All righty.
wacko.
We're not gonna do that. All right. So I think that is it this evening. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Still moving.
Have a good night.
Good night.
But it's not ours.
Yeah, right. Right, but you understand.
I 100% understood what he was saying. Absolutely, I did. I understood very much so.
Right, like you're saying, you're using the officers and they have to be paid no matter.
There was only one officer on it,
Mhm,
and so she must have come in on his own.
mhm.
I
So-
Well, I'm just saying, he must have come in on his own because everything there was car.
Well, ask him.
I would appreciate Mr. Stubbs being cited for what he said. I would appreciate Mr. Stubbs being cited for what he said. Calling Mr. Lillycrop a
I
wacko.
did say.
You did say it. I
Yeah.
want a formal apology.
Yeah, I did mention that. I understand.
I want a formal apology. That was inappropriate.
Good night.
Good night.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not running.